Hey guys, it's Sign here, the HobbiesofaMan. Once again, and today we're doing another review for a comic book. Today we're looking at a new series. It's called Ghost Pepper. It's by Ludo Lullaby. He did recent work with Dana Warren Johnson on Transformers. I can't remember what issue it was. I think it was issue 20, maybe. It was the Megatron story. And this also has Adriano Lucas as the letterer, I think, or it might be the colorist. Let me double check. Yeah, it is the colorist. So Ludo Lullaby does basically all the work here except for the colors. And this is a really interesting series. This book is a oversized book, so it cost $5. And it's oversized in the fact that it has twice as many pages. The normal series after this should be a $4 book with 32 pages, which is average. This is a 56-page book with a $5 price tag, and it's definitely worth it. It has a lot to it. It's very good. It's very enjoyable. It's kind of interesting. When I was reading through this, I wasn't really sure what it was that was like, you know, in the back of my head. There was something there, and I still can't really, you know, think about it, but this definitely has a very anime feel to it. If you like anime, if you like French cartoons like Code Lyoko, Oban Star Razor, what's it called, Wakfu, or stuff like Radiant, the French manga, you might like this. You might find this valuable, right? And if you're a fan of normal, like, Japanese anime, like Evangelion, or what's it called, the Space Cowboy one, Cowboy Bebop, or, you know, stuff in that vein, you will probably enjoy this. It has a feel like that. It has a very interesting style that I really liked. I thought it was really enjoyable. Now, Ludo Lullaby is kind of an interesting person. He's worked on a lot of different stuff. He's actually someone that worked for Blizzard. He did a lot of Warcraft stuff. He's done a lot of work in other mediums, and it's kind of interesting that he ended up kind of in comic books. I guess it's something that he was very interested in, right? And this is his first creator-owned series, as far as I'm aware. And it really worked really nicely. He knocked it out of the park with this one. So let's actually talk about what the series is about. And it's kind of hard to pin down really what it's about, but there's kind of two plot lines that are kind of happening, right? On one hand, this is a apocalyptic sci-fi world. So the characters have a very specific style and vibe, and the work and the way in which people exist is very sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, right? There's giant robots, there's very cool, like, over-designed trucks and stuff like that. And so we follow this character, Loloi, I think is her name, as she's kind of just feeding people through her food truck, right? This is something similar to Crazy Food Truck, if you guys read that manga. And at the same time, there's this other kind of more overarching, like, space opera type story. There used to be this character called Cinder. This was this giant, you know, Attack on Titan kind of character who was walking through the Earth or around the Earth. And every time he walked, he would destroy everything, right? And so with time, a character rose up. This guy was named Barat, I think, or Batar, sorry. And this Batar character created these robots, which is what we see later on. And he managed to force Cinder away from the Earth. He trapped him on the moon. Cinder walks around the moon constantly, but can't destroy anything because there's nothing there. And on Earth, in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, humanity managed to return to prominence, and everyone prays to Batar, or in some way controlled by this belief in this Batar character and the robots that he brought with him, right? Very interesting concept. And as we see that explained to us in the beginning, and then we meet Loloi, and we see her interactions with the people in this random town that she walked into, and we see her feeding people, we experience the kind of character that's going to drive us through the story, right? It seems like Loloi is our point of view character, but the main character, or the character that the story is actually about, is this other character called Ash, right? So this is Loloi right there, and this is Ash, right? And he has this little robot companion that comes with him and kind of keeps him in check, because he's a very kind of berserker kind of character, right? And this is almost kind of like a fairy tale situation. You have the plucky female character, you have the really strong, badass, dumb character, and then you have his little animal companion, a friend who's more smart, but still kind of falls in the shenanigans of the character, right? That he follows. And so it has that setup, but the vibe of it is very, very different, right? It's not like Eden Zero either. It has a different vibe to it. And so this guy Ash is hanging out at Lulo's truck. He's eating his noodles, his ramen noodles, and randomly out of nowhere, these robots show up. These I think they're called shark fins, and they show up and they're like, "Hey, you're not authorized to be here. Leave." And Ash ignores them. And as he continues to ignore them, they try to escalate, right? There's kind of a police brutality element there. And eventually, they force him away from his food. His food falls to the ground, and he goes crazy because they didn't leave him alone. They stole his food from him, and then they destroyed it. And now he goes crazy. He goes berserk. He tells them his name is Ash, and he starts kind of pummeling them, destroying them. He has supernatural powers. And eventually, the little robot guy grows in size and covers the character, Ash, in his body. And so he forces him to get knocked out, kind of like a Hulkbuster situation, right? Where Ash is Bruce Banner, and then when he goes berserk, he's Superman, he's Hulk, and then the little robot buddy is his Hulkbuster, right? And they manage to calm him down. Luloi shoves him in her car, and they drive off away from the robot police characters. And at the end of the issue, we see that Luloi is basically into having this guy around. She thinks that he'll be interesting to have around. She thinks that his strength will be useful. And honestly, she just kind of vibes with him. She thinks that it's cool that he appreciated her food. And there's more to come, right? And so the characters are going to go off on their adventure now. And we're just kind of along for the ride. And it was a really good book. It kind of seems like nothing much happened, but a lot did. There was a lot of world building here. There was a lot of development of the setting. And the character introductions were really, really good, right? And at the kind of middle of the story, we learned that there's something about Ash that is kind of different from people. I mean, you can kind of tell that he's probably related to the Cinder character in some way. I mean, their names are similar, right? They're fire-based. And his skin tone is really odd. He's kind of a gray-looking character. And the people that are in charge of the robots, which are these kind of like clergymen to an extent, freak out when they hear that he exists. And they're like, oh, crap, he shouldn't be here. We got to figure out what to do with him, right? So I assume that he has some sort of like a role to play in a conflict that's coming up, right? That's going to be explained to us later. And so the Ghost Pepper story is a story about feeding people in tough situations, but it also seems to be like it's going to be a story about the coming of another apocalypse, or the story about this religious group that's trying to hold down another group of people, right? It seems like it's going to be space opera. It's going to be, futuristic. It's going to be really, really fun and very interesting. And I can't wait for more. So if you guys haven't picked it up, I recommend you guys go find it at your local comic book stores or order it online if you can. Preferably go to the store, just because that way you support your store. There's also some really good covers for this. So the main cover is this one. I really liked it. But I do regret not ordering some of the other ones because the cover B, specifically the Archer version, is really, really good. And there's a few other ones that are pretty awesome. So yeah, I recommend you guys check this out. It's a really good book. So those are all my thoughts there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Bye.